And maybe you can scout ahead, Ellie, just to make sure there's no gross stuff so that Dina can keep the very precious food, the precious little food that they have, inside your stomach. 'Cause hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to The Last of Us Season 2. We're now on to episode 5, I believe it is. Yes, which is called Feel Her Love. And I think we've already seen that is the slogan of the scars, as they call them. So yeah, the last episode, we see that things in Seattle are messed up, to put it mildly. There is infighting happening between the Scars faction and the WLF, or the Wolves. The Wolves are resorting to torture tactics to try to get information out of the Scars. The Scars are disemboweling and doing all kinds of horrible things back to the WLF, and it's just some cyclical, terrible stuff. And anyway, Ellie and Dina were not really able to get to anyone right away because they were too busy trying to get away from the WLF, who thought that they might have been Scars. But now they know, thanks to the radio, where they're planning to meet, and so they're hoping they can get closer to where everything's happening, do some recon, and at least get their excuse me, get their hands on one of the wolves so they can try to figure out where Abby is, because that's the whole reason they came. Because I think they want to get as far, or they want to hurry up and get this done, because clearly hanging around Seattle is not a good idea for either of them. Also, the big reveal that Dina is pregnant. Now Ellie knows this, and of course her and Dina are now in a new phase of their relationship. So yeah, once they actually get a chance to calm down, I guess they'll deal with the finer details of that. So ready to jump into this episode. Just before I do, though, if you'd like to know when episodes drop, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. And also you can watch an uncut version of this reaction on my Patreon if you are interested. There we go. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Uh-oh. This woman looks tough, like she's the boss. Words, please. All right, I guess it's just understood. Gotta be a wolf.
Leah. Jesus.
Did you say you could have one? I feel like in the apocalypse, those are very hard to come by.
Here and here caved in, and all the elevator cars are stuck in their shafts just below ground level. The only way in or out of the basement is here, the stairwell.
That's terrifying.
And I put Leon in charge, because he's my best.
Was your best?
5 minutes later, he radios again. But this time, he was struggling to breathe.
Spores.
He could hardly talk.
Spores. Sorry, game spoiler from people who don't know.
It's in the air.
They kind of talked about it in season 1, I think, but I don't think we saw it.
And we locked the only door to B2, and we locked the only door to B1.
Okay.
We did what Leon said.
Lock them in.
We sealed them in.
Okay, so she did technically take them out, but they were gone anyway. All right, Seattle's got some problems.
As far as I'm concerned, Sergeant Park, you resolved the situation permanently and heroically.
She doesn't feel very heroic right now.
You were dead.
You do.
I'm sorry about your son.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that hurts. That would explain. Oh. I mean, military stuff aside, that's just going to be a risk in this world no matter what, unfortunately. Thank God for Dina doing recon.
I'm triangulating. Do you know how that works?
Yes.
Trigonometry.
I mean, if I had a protractor, it would be a lot more accurate.
Oh, I actually brought a protractor.
You should
You
have.
did?
No. I'm gonna leave you alone now and go and explore the rest of this place because you're smart as fuck and you're figuring it out.
Which is what she said in the first place. This is where they used to play heavy metal music back in the day. She wouldn't know. A plethora of guitars. She was like, well, nothing else to do. Guess I'll perform another 80s song. I'm starting to think maybe this is promotion for Ellie's album that's coming up. No? Yeah, those lyrics are a bit on the nose right now.
Figure it out?
I think so, yeah. Good.
She's angry again.
But it's set off from the residential area, so maybe it's a warehouse or something.
It's a big fucking something for them just to ignore.
Hmm.
Why aren't they patrolling?
Exactly. Good questions. Probably infected in there. There you go.
Nora should be on the first floor, far end of the north wing.
Wait, how the fuck do you know that?
They never
Listening.
shut up. I hear everything.
Middle of a fucking war and they're just broadcasting their
I
position.
mean, they don't think anyone's listening.
It's good. They're overconfident. It gives us an edge.
It does. But what we're doing is reckless.
Absolutely.
So kind of a wash.
Yeah, right. We've broken even. They're reckless. We're reckless. We just got to be very careful. They did such a good job. That actually looks like straight out of the game, this background. And I'm pretty sure there's CG at some point back there. But it's so seamless. Even like season 1, they did such a good job blending practical with the CGI. It's nice to see that HBO is paying their VFX people.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's more of them. So that was the lady they thought was a prophet. Feel this. Wow. Wow. Okay. They don't have any reverence. Keep it together, Dina. Keep it together. No. For no other reason, we're going to have to get her out of here because she's never going to be able to hold anything down.
You're having a fucking baby. What am I doing? Dina, do you want to go back?
No.
You know, you never asked me about the first person I killed.
She's like, we're going to move on.
And I don't have a mom or sister anymore. But since everyone's past is fucked, and we've all heard everyone's fucked stories, how do you think this one goes?
So many possibilities.
You got home. They were dead. He was gone.
Was he gone?
Almost. He was still there.
Yeah. Remember first kill.
And when I shot him, he looked more startled.
Fuck, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I thought. How did you get to Jackson?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, you're not ready to talk about that.
Whatever reason Joel gave those people to do what they did, he didn't deserve that.
I agree.
What if that motherfucker made me watch as he did it? Would it make a difference if my family had hurt his people first?
Still wrong.
And if I hadn't killed him? If he had gotten away? I promise you, I would have hunted him down forever.
Fair. She has valid points. I mean, Joel did bring that karma, but not the way that Abby executed it.
And I'll keep going if you want.
Okay.
There's no right answer. If I die, it's on me.
It's not just you, though. It's true. You got to make sure you're locked in, too, Ellie. You can't every 2 minutes be telling her to leave if she's with you. But I honestly think you guys are, safer together at this point. And maybe you can scout ahead, Ellie, just to make sure there's no gross stuff so that Dina can keep the very precious food, the precious little food that they have, inside your stomach. 'Cause... Do they have masks? Just hit me. Do they have gas masks? Just in case. I mean, Ellie will be fine, but...
How does it look?
Haunted but empty.
Huh. Just like us.
Oh, damn. Telling you, man, these kids are so morbid these days.
So what we've got? Maybe a few strays, and a couple clickers. We can handle
Spores.
that. We've done it like a million times.
But I guess they would never think to think about spores.
If it gets bad, and we have to make a choice between shooting or running.
We run.
We run.
Exactly.
Oh, you think that no matter what happens, I'm just gonna start firing?
Yes.
Literally every single time.
Right? Like, girl.
It's one of the reasons I love you. But
Wow.
I do want to make it out of here.
Not the
You
ILUs.
love me?
Just dropping them casually. Can y'all focus, please? Cute stuff when y'all are, like, alone.
So far, so good.
Why would you jinx it, Ellie? Please don't have any letters on there saying B1 or B2. Although they said it's sealed up, so they can't get in easily. Oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? What is that? What is... It's a smart one. It's a smart one.
I think it's a smart one. Like the one that stalked me at the supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I killed it. Not before
But it
got me.
bit her, yeah.
Fucking bit you. How was I supposed to tell me?
Uh-oh. There's more than one. So much for those odds. How many of them are there? Oh, you're already surrounded. Well, it's been nice, ladies.
There as many as I can. You're gonna run in there, secure the gate, secure however you can, and stay in there.
She's right. It's got to be Ellie. Ellie's got to be the sacrificial bait each time in this case, unfortunately. Come on, Dina, move them legs. There you go, girl. Good girl. Now get your hands away from the gate. You weren't supposed to shoot, Ellie, but I guess she's no choice. Uh-oh, we empty. Oh, they're strong. Damn. How? Looks like you got someone's attention. Oh, they know to hide.
Did you get bit?
Maybe, but let's not talk about it.
I didn't fight her. Jesse, I swear.
Mm-hmm. We'll worry about the immunity talk later. Jesse's here. Yeah, y'all made a lot of noise. Like a lot of noise. All running together in a straight line. I hate it.
Not coming in the park.
Yeah, something about the park.
Jesse,
Yeah, how'd you get here? Why are you here? How'd you find us?
What?
how did you find us?
Y'all are not
The
slick.
map you left in the theater.
Thanks, that was all Dina.
Trust me, I didn't think it was you.
You came alone?
No, me and Tommy. That's a good thing we did.
You know what, we're doing pretty fucking good up
Up until what?
Yeah, when you were about to get bitten to death and Dina's about to get bit.
until we weren't.
There we go. I understand, girls, but let's be real. You needed help.
Meet up with Tommy, and then we all go home.
Oh, that's not happening.
No, Ellie.
That's the scars. Oh, that's why they didn't go in the forest. It's scars territory. Oh no, please no torture. Dina can't handle it. Dina, I'm gonna need you to look away, please, and close your ears. Oh, they're gonna disembowel him like they did the other ones? Look away, Ellie. Oh, actually, Ellie's okay. Look away, Dina. Good girl. Good girl. You're learning. Yuck. That's the thing they do, huh? While he's still alive. Y'all are messed up, both sides. Mm-mm.
Harry is free. Watches over us all.
Shut up. Y'all just as bad as the wolves. You might have to run into the infected. Woo! Damn, they're good with those crossbows. Girl, get up, get up. Ellie, get up. Interesting, they're not using flashlights either, only torches. So she's at the hospital. And Ellie has forgotten the plan. So quickly. Uh-oh. Yeah, remember, Ellie, you can't outsmart a dog, girl. Oh, there's Nora. Damn, y'all about to lose somebody with medical knowledge. Sucks for you. So sad. I like this actress a lot. She's so cool. And she's also going to be she's the face of an upcoming video game as well, which is kind of full circle here.
Put that shit down. Hands up, turn around. You remember me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember me.
Karma comes around, girl.
You shoot me, the sound will have every soldier come running.
You'll still be dead.
Exactly. Is that what we want?
We could have killed you.
Maybe you should have. Or maybe you should have stayed the fuck out of Jackson. Nora.
What was your name?
At night, I still hear his screams.
As you should. You didn't need to torture him.
Terrible thing, the way he died.
Look at her triggering your
The little
PTSD.
bitch got what he deserved.
Oh, Ellie, you should have shot her. And also, why does no one have silencers in this place? You think by now someone would find one. Look at it. Oh, Ellie, we got to work on your agility, girl. I wouldn't open that if I were you, Nora. Mm-hmm. Ooh, what in the Laura Croft? Yeah, we didn't think that through. Yeah, B2. You're that bad of a shot, Ellie? My God. Calm down and breathe through. She walked into B2. Oh, Nora. Nora. You're gonna wish you was shot, girl. How long can you hold your breath, Nora? Because I'm guessing unless you've been practicing, you got 30 seconds at most. I don't think she would have ran towards the growths, but yeah, I don't think so. Look behind you. You just know it smells musty in there too. Oh, damn, you still breathing, bruh? Oh, I wonder if that's Leon. You think it's Leon? Sorry, bro. She's like, hey, do you know where Abby? sorry to bother you while you dying, but do you know where Abby is? That effect is real. There's Leon. Aw, Mr. Park, I see it. Good way for them to loop that story back around. That's fresh coughing. I guess we couldn't hold our breath that long, hey, Nor? Straight from the video game. Well done. Am I?
Spores. We're breathing spores.
We are, but only one of us is in trouble.
You killed us both.
Did I?
Yeah. Notice I'm not coughing. Yeah, realization. Yeah. She is her. She is her.
You're real.
Yeah.
Get to die knowing that, if that's any consolation.
Don't you know what he did?
Don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You don't care.
No. It didn't justify what you did.
That was Abby's father. Joel shot him in the head. That's what he did.
Yeah, shot him in the head. You didn't beat him to death, did he?
I know.
Yeah, in fact, I think I'm just gonna let you stay here. Don't even have to shoot you now. Enjoy getting infected. Ooh, this shot is beautiful. Oh, there's a poster. Okay. Can't say Nora was weak, I'll give her that. Well, since y'all are real fans of torture, you're not gonna die quick, Nora. Remember that. Those spores are gonna get to you, but not that quick. See how Leon's still gasping and rasping?
Where is she?
Damn, Ellie. Damn, Ellie. Tapping into her demon side. Yep, this is anger from everything. Woo! Ellie, Ellie, Ellie. Damn, girl. It's a piece of your soul right there. Is this real or a dream? Dream. Oh, my Pedro, you sexy, sexy bitch. All right, guys. Well, that was... What an ending. What an ending. You think she's going to get a piece of Joel every time she tortures and kills somebody? Like pieces of a very twisted puzzle. Oh, my poor girl. Wow. Okay. That was a good one. That was a very, very good episode. Lots of scenes straight out of the game. Doing my best not to spoil too much before they show, because I don't know exactly what they're going to end up showing in the show versus what happened in the game. But that last part there was almost pretty much scene for scene what we had in the game. Of course, there was a few, they made a few changes to dialogue, etc. But for the most part, it's the same. But in this episode, we have Dina and Ellie continuing trying to get to Nora because that's the only person they know of. They don't know that Manny's here at this point. But yeah, they're like, if we can get to her, she'll give us the information. We see Dina showing how incredibly smart she is in the fact that she's, again, so clutch on this journey because Ellie, bless her heart, Ellie is very smart, but she's just not as, what did Dina say? She's not a school person, but I would say that she's not I'd say her strength is not in academics. Let's put it that way. She's got strengths in other places. Ellie's very perceptive and she's got a lot of other strengths, but yeah, it's true. And when it comes to the academic stuff, she's really just not that interested in it. I'm sure she would be good if she applied herself, but she doesn't care. But anyway, thanks to Dina's super brain, she was able to figure out the patrols and the best way to potentially proceed to the hospital. And of course, they realize that there's only one gap in the coverage, which is otherwise pretty tight, which is a building. And they're like, it's strange. We already know that in this day and age, in this world, we don't leave large areas unpatrolled unless there's a reason people don't go there. And that's probably infected. And they were right. They didn't know what to expect because they were thinking, okay, if it's your normal infected, they know how to handle those. But we find out that it was actually the smart ones, AKA the stalkers. And of course, Ellie was like, if it was just one, they had a chance of potentially taking it out. But it turns out the whole warehouse was full of them. So very interesting that they're showing that the stalkers are kind of grouping together because that's actually terrifying. But it makes sense, right? Because they are smarter, they would figure out that working in packs is far more effective than working alone. But anyway, we see that whole thing happens and they get into trouble, right? There's too many stalkers in there. And of course, their plan was that they were going to run and not shoot, right? They want to try to back out if it's too much. The idea is that they leave and then they come up with another plan. But we see that already that Dina knows that this plan is shaky at best, but she also knows that Ellie's going to go one way or another. And then, of course, as they proceed and, they see another scene of what the, again, just this visceral, absolutely just horrible, horrific things that these two factions are doing to each other. And we see that Dina, her pregnancy is not allowing her for any foolery, right? Like Dina's like, I can normally handle some gross stuff, but and we call it the hormones, but the baby, we'll blame it on the baby. The baby don't like it, okay? Dina can handle it, but the baby can't. So anyway, seeing that Dina is having this visceral reaction to, all these things now that Ellie knows there's a reason for it, understandably, it kind of really hits her. Like she said it last episode too, right? She told Dina that she should stay, but seeing that, again, this is like actively putting Dina in danger. And also, for being real, it's becoming a bit of a liability, because if Dina really can't control her gag reflex going in, any further into this situation, it's going to give them up, right? Like we do not need Dina at the wrong moment letting out a big old dry heave. Right? It's not going to be good. Not to mention her throwing up is also a trail, right? So yeah, they're going to have to figure something out. And the point is that Ellie's starting to recognize that it's pretty serious. And this is not, how do I put it? It's not that she didn't take it seriously. It's more that I think it's really hitting her now that it's not just Dina, right? There is a child now. There's two people effectively that are traveling here. And even though Dina is still 100% capable of doing pretty much everything she normally would, because she's still very early in the pregnancy, she has to take different precautions, right? She still can't just be as reckless. And, obviously the bite means so much more. She was going to get infected regardless of the bite, but you get my point. Like now that there's a child involved, it feels a lot more serious. And so, when Ellie sees this, she immediately is starting to think, maybe she shouldn't keep coming with me. Like now I'm starting to feel like if something happens to her or this baby, I'm going to feel some type of way about it. And we hear some background on Dina. We find out like why she's alone, where her family went, the sad story of how she ended up alone and somehow ended up in Jacksonville. And it's not a happy story, but she basically says to Ellie that, this whole thing, to me, that story was to reaffirm to Ellie that she doesn't think that Ellie's mission is without merit, right? She understands why Ellie's doing it. She's not questioning Ellie's reasoning or thinking that it's not worth it, right? Like she said, if she managed to get the revenge on the person that took her family from her, and she's like, I understand that for Ellie, it's something that will probably keep her up at night if she can't get the revenge on the people that did this to Joel. But she also, I think, is starting to recognize as well that she's not in the same shape that she would normally be in if she wasn't pregnant. And so I like that she kind of just said, look, Ellie, if you really want me to leave, I will. But if you want me to stay, I will. But, I kind of need you to figure it out because, we got to go forward. Like if we're going to keep going forward, you got to be with me and treat me like I'm an equal in this and not kind of keep trying to send me home every other minute. So anyway, as I said in the episode, at this point, even though I absolutely understand why Dina should go back, her going back alone is just as dangerous as her going with Ellie as far as I'm concerned, because even though Dina's very smart and she moves very cautiously, that's a lot of ground. Like they're right now in the smack dab in the middle of Seattle. Her getting out of Seattle without getting caught is already a huge risk. Then her going back with the only horse they've got, who knows what could happen between there and back to Jacksonville, right? It could be a lot of things. And so point is, in my opinion, the risks are about, the same for the two of them sticking together or splitting up, but probably better if they stay together because, Ellie, as we said, Ellie is fierce, right? Ellie will fiercely protect Dina at any cost if she needs to. And also her immunity is, whether we like it or not, a really helpful tool for Ellie, right? She can distract the infected if necessary, and she can risk getting bitten. She can breathe spores, whereas Dina can't do any of those things. So, you get my point. Like, it's just for now, them being together is far more safe than them splitting up. And so, yeah, thankfully Ellie's like, you know what, let's just stay together. We finish this and, we move forward. And then we find out that before we get to the whole thing that happened before Jesse shows up, we find out at the beginning of the episode, the scene that was at the beginning, I don't remember it being in the game. That does not mean it didn't happen, because again, I'm very fuzzy. It's been a long time since I did the walkthrough. But Long story short, I think they added that scene to explain what was going on the B2 level of the hospital. But anyways, we find out that, yes, this hospital that the WLF is currently inhabiting, it's clear up until B1. But we just discovered, it looks like very recently, that B2 and below are covered in the growths and they have spores as a result. And unfortunately, they lost a whole team to the spores because they didn't know they were down there. By the time they figured out they were there, they'd already inhaled them. And so I like that they did the callback when Ellie got down there of showing the team, including poor Leon. Leon didn't make it. Leon's just there creating more spores in the circle of life. But anyway, so that kind of explains what's going on there as far as the WLF in this hospital, which they're barely holding from the looks of things, as we saw that Nora was treating people, but that hospital looks like it's on its last legs, to be fair. But anyway, coming back to Ellie and Dina, they're doing their best to make it in. They make it out of the building, but they get into the building with all the smart infected. And the only reason they get out is because Jesse is there. And I mean, again, because I know what was going to happen. I knew Jesse was going to arrive, but I wasn't sure if they were going to put it at this point or not. But thankfully they did, because somehow these smart infected are super strong, because I don't know that many people that can rip back a wire cage easily. But anyway, I'm sure it was all for the sake of the intrigue. But anyway, Jesse showed up and manages to rescue them both. But Jesse sees that Ellie was covered by not one, but I think 3 of the smart ones. So he's asking, was she bit? Was she bit? And I think it's going to come back again, obviously, because he knew that the likelihood of Ellie not getting bitten when there was at least 2, maybe not 3, but at least 2 of the stalkers on her is highly unlikely. But we see that, of course, Dina came in and did her best to deflect Jesse's questions, but they didn't have time to talk about it at that point. But I do know it's going to come up again. There's no doubt. But anyway, they get out of there. They try to hide. They go into the park and see that the wolves stop right there at the border of the park. They don't know why. They assume it's infected, but we find out that the park is actually Scar's territory. And then we start to see some of we've already seen the torture scene last episode with the wolves. And now in this episode, we saw with whoever the cult leader was there for them, that they disembowel, which we already saw a couple episodes ago that they've been doing this. But yes, apparently, even if the people surrender and say that they'll give up information, anything, some of these guys are just they just want to take them out. That's all there is to it. And so thankfully Dina was smart and looked away this time, because she knew she wouldn't be able to hold her lunch. But now at least they see what's going on with the wolves, right? Because I don't think that they saw what happened in the warehouse, Dina and Ellie, but I think they weren't sure what was happening, right? Because if you look at how they're piecing the story together from the road, right? They came on their way there. They saw the scars. They saw that even the children were taken out. They're like, oh my gosh, the wolves are evil. They get to Seattle. They see the people hanging, but they're not sure what happened or what went down with that. And now they see, right? Now they actually see that this cult is doing just as vile things as the WLF is. So the point is, I think they realize that neither side is one that they can bother to get caught by or caught up in, and that this, again, even more reason for the two of them to get out of Dodge as soon as possible. And we see they almost get caught by the scars as well, and poor Dina gets shot in the leg by an arrow, who God knows if that arrow's clean. So yes, Jesse picks her up and takes her out of there, thank God, because if Ellie had tried to take her out, we know that Ellie cannot lift Dina. So thank God Jesse was there and able to get her out. And then Ellie, led them away. And then she, of course, ended up in the wing of the hospital where Nora was. So she should have gone back to look for Dina, but the opportunity was just, the main reason she also took this opportunity is because Jesse's like, Tommy's here and we're leaving, right? There's no way we can continue to stay. And she saw that even when Jesse said we're leaving, Ellie said no, but Dina kind of looked at her like, are you sure? Right? So again, I think Dina's having a lot of second thoughts for obvious reasons. And she didn't say it to Ellie because she doesn't really want Ellie to go off on her own. But, now that someone's here that can take them home, I don't blame Dina for being like, can we please leave now? This is scary. But anyway, Ellie goes, and then we saw what happened at the end, right? She finds Nora, and, Nora is showing zero, she recognizes Ellie, obviously, and she has zero remorse over what happened. And it's interesting, but I feel like that makes sense. She did, No, she wasn't actually. It was the other girl with the longer hair that actually was the gentle one, like the one that was gentle with Dina. The other girl, Nora, didn't really say much. But anyways, we see that Nora really doesn't feel bad about what happened, and she refused to give up Abby. But that's the same as in the game. Like, spoiler alert, in the game too, she doesn't give up Abby. Even when she's dying, she's like, "No, I'm not giving her up," because she's basically like, "I'm dead, so it doesn't matter." And yeah, we see that Ellie follows her down, and of course, before Nora dies, she's able to see that Ellie is in fact the one, the immune one. She is her, and you know, obviously that's a little bit frustrating because I think she almost had a little bit of joy in her last moments, thinking that Ellie was going to go down with her. But now that she sees that Ellie's immune, but it doesn't matter at this point. And then of course we see that moment, which I think is pretty quintessential in Ellie's character development, where we hear Nora recant everything that Joel did. And she's like, "Don't you care? Like that's what he did." And Ellie says, "I know, but that's not true." That's actually the first time that Ellie has heard this. She has no idea what happened at that place, right? Because we know she was knocked out. Joel was well on the road by the time she came to. She has no idea what happened. Joel lied about what happened. The only person he told was Tommy, and Tommy never told her. So that was news to her. But again, you know, the point is, thank goodness, you know, that Dina and her had that conversation before when they were on their way there, where Dina says, "It doesn't matter if my family had done something to this man before this man came back and hurt them. Like, it doesn't change the fact that it was a wrong was done, and no one should do that. And there's nothing wrong with you wanting to get retribution for that." And so I feel like that's exactly where Ellie's head was at when Nora told her about what Joel had done. It was like, yeah, okay, sure. Because I mean, remember, you know, she knew that Joel must have done something to have these people come and find him. But as Ellie said, "I don't care." Right? And it's true. She doesn't care at this point. As I've said multiple times, if they had just come and taken out Joel, if it had just been like a shot, or even I would have even taken if she'd shot Joel in the leg and then shot him, I would have been like, all right, sucks, but you know, what goes around comes around, right? But it was what she did, the way that they sat there and watched Joel be tortured for God knows how long, and then did all of that, and they were going to keep going if Ellie hadn't shown up. Like, that's why I was like, nah, all y'all deserve to go, because it was too much. It wasn't like Joel, everyone he took out in that facility, he took out as quickly as possible, right? Joel only hurt people extensively if he needed something from them. So all that to say, you know, Ellie did hear it, but you know, she said, "Yeah, I don't care," right? I still want Abby. I don't care what you guys think was the justification. And then we see that when Nora refuses, and like I said, you say a lot about Nora, but you can't say she's a punk. She definitely was like, "No, I'm not giving her up." We see that Ellie decides to slip down into a pretty dark place of effectively doing what Abby did. I mean, Abby wasn't doing it for information, mind you, but she starts to torture Nora. And as I said, like, I mean, we understand why she's doing it, but it is a piece of her soul. Like, to do that to somebody is very unnatural. It's inhumane. And if you do that, it really does change you at a fundamental level. And so even though, you know, Ellie, I mean, a lot of that you can see with her getting angrier, it was definitely a lot of her pent up emotions over all of this that she was letting out there. But as I said, it's still something that's going to change her forever, because it's a very dark thing to do, to torture someone, to purposefully inflict pain on somebody and know that you're doing it repeatedly, right? So yeah, we see that that's basically how we ended the episode, and except for with, you know, Ellie having that dream, you know, waking up and Joel's still there and everything's fine. Very, very understandable, realistic. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Ellie does go back, and how she's going to process the fact that she's crossed this line now. I mean, taking a life is one thing when you have to do it in self-defense, but this, I mean, again, I don't think she's actually going to kill Nora. We'll have to see if they do it, but she's dead either way. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see, like I said, how she's going to process this new side of herself that she's discovered, whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. So yeah, another good episode. I enjoyed that a lot. We had some tense moments, but I think really the highlights for me was definitely Jesse being part of the picture. Now I really like his character and how he kind of, we'll have to see how the show does it. But in the game, I really like how he factored in to their story once he arrived. And I'm also interested to see how they're going to play Tommy, because he's already a lot different than the way he was in the game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the upcoming episodes. I enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.